Matt, there's been a mistake.
Oh, really?
Someone's lost the script for the intro.
What's that?
Matt, there's been a mistake. But we do have a name. A name? A game. Matt, there's been a mistake.
What, is it the way we decided to introduce this video?
Yeah, it's taken way too long to do this, hasn't it? God.
I think this is like our 50th take, but yeah, go on.
It is take 50, but we do have a game for you today. It's called the Marvellous Miss Take. And this game, Matt, it seems that all of our valuable paintings have been taken. We need to go and get them back. We play a character called Sophia. But as with the usual theme, we're going to have a look in the menu system for a start. So let's go into settings. And the audio map. This is a bit better, I have to say. We can turn the sound...
Okay, so you've got 3 different settings for the music and 3 different settings for the sound.
Yeah, so...
Is that completely it then?
So we've got full, low and off for both of them. It would be nice to have a bit of a slider. But I mean, hey, it doesn't detract from the gameplay much, I don't feel. But yeah, it would be nice just to have a slidable option in there. The graphics. Now this is a bit of a confusing area. Let's go into the resolutions to start. And as we look here, we've got 4 resolutions. Now, they go down to 480 by 270. You might notice that 720p is missing.
Is this the full list of resolutions, or is there more?
There is actually more. I'm not going to do it just because I don't want to try destroy like all of recording settings. But if you click full screen off, you do get about another 5 options with all of the graphics, including 720 and some sort of 6:9 resolutions as well, like 800 by 600. So yeah, that is a bit odd. I'm not sure why they've decided to go with this, but you can have it 920 by 1080, and it works perfectly fine at that resolution. And then we've got some various effects, shadows, reflections, anti-aliasing. It doesn't say what type it is. It just says anti-aliasing. And then depth of field as well. You can also change the size of the HUD, but I actually quite like it large.
I guess in terms of the settings, it's quite good for people who don't want an overcomplicated display. You know, like if people just want to have some simple settings, like, you know, because in some games, I guess you could have where you have an overwhelming amount of different things, and a lot of the time you might think, "Oh, what the hell does this mean?" And I guess there's 2 different ways you can look at it.
Yeah, it is always nice just to have more options. You can change the language to French, Dutch, and Spanish as well. So it's nice they put those options in. The data allows you to wipe all your progress, start again, and then controls. There's no rebindable keys, but you can either have it on keyboard movement or on mouse control. I actually prefer the keyboard movement because that seems a bit better.
So is there any gamepad support for people who use controllers?
No, it's just keyboard and mouse.
Their PC.
Gamepad might work quite well in this, but we won't know because we don't have it. But you know, yeah, it might be an option if they have it. Let's just go into it. So I'm on chapter 3 at the moment, and I believe there's 5 chapters. There's 3 characters that you can play, and Sophia's the main one.
So you're not actually stealing. It's a little bit like a Robin Hood concept, if I am thinking correctly. And not in terms of stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, but you're kind of taking back what's rightfully yours in a way.
So that's it. You're stealing back all of the art, and you're filling up your mansion. So all of the paintings are different levels, and then you notice there's smaller paintings as well. So when you complete one of the main levels, so this is level 10 for instance, you get 2 side paintings, and you can swap over to these 2 different characters. Their names escape me at the moment, but they allow you to play the same level in a slightly different fashion. And for example, if you jump to her, skip past all of this. She has different abilities to Sophia. So I actually quite like her. I'm not entirely fond of this sort of master thief guy, but let's.
So the different players are useful in different ways, basically.
It's to unlock the next chapter. So if we just go over this way, let's just run up to here.
By the way, how did you switch between them then? Do you have to be like next to
click on them?
Or...
So it's quite an easy system.
Okay.
So chapter 4, to unlock that, we need to complete 15 of the main portraits, and then 4 of the bronze ones, which are the black guy with the cane, and then 6 of the silver paintings, which are with her. So it can be any of the levels, but you get access to them when you complete. So you can see if I've got one there. I need to do that one. So let's go into Trafalgar Square. Just with her. Okay. So it's a sort of... I'm going to call it a puzzle stealth game. It's not a sort of traditional stealth game in the fact that all of the guards, as you can see here, you can see where their cone of vision, but they don't walk in a directed path. They are random. So every single time you play the level, they do walk in a different fashion. So
you can't kind of watch, for example, you couldn't watch this video and then treat it as a walkthrough, because when you play it, it might be completely different the way that they react and where they go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the idea with her is she has to steal keys off of the guard. You can see that guard's got a key and the other guard will have a key, and you have to get her to crack the safe. So we've got to go to this safe, and there's another one somewhere on the level that I'm sure we'll find. So you can move around. In fact, there it is. You can move around with the mouse or the camera. And I'm just using the WASD keys to move around. Also, when you're in keyboard mode, you can actually use the arrow keys. So although it doesn't have rebindable keys, if you're right-handed, you can still... Oh god, we're going to be seen. You can still use your right hands.
So one of the things is the trailer for this game. It has a kind of a marketing point of wits not fists. So is there any kind of combat, or does it just is it a stealth game that kind of, like, for example, Metal Gear Solid, it's especially the early games, a lot of stealth, but you can kind of take out enemies and then kind of hide their bodies in places. I'm guessing that this is kind of purely just don't get caught, don't focus on combat, as the trailer would suggest, be smart about it and don't get caught, because you won't be able to fight your way out of it. Yeah,
that's it. So with her, she can just about outrun all of the guards if you get caught. So you can also sort of distract them. So if I hold down space, she coughs, and you can see sort of the area that the cough attracts. So if I go around here, for instance, if I cough, he'll go, oh, someone's coughed, and then you can see he's seen her, and it gets drawn. So the idea is to get into that safe. We really want to... Oh, shoot. Actually, he's going to find me and catch me.
Uh-oh.
I didn't do that very well. So the idea is you have to sort of pull them away from the safes so you can crack them. And when you crack the safes, it does start calling in the guards. So...
Okay. Is there any way to tamper with the security? I know you've got a security camera in the corner there. Is there any way to tamper with that, or kind of disable it?
No. Oh, Jesus. Am I going to be able to get out of him? I might be able to hide behind here. Nope. Oh, shoot.
Nope.
So, as you can see, it's pretty much, if you get caught by them, it can be game over. But you can, it does allow you to be seen a bit, and you'll see the sort of bar filling up, like this circular one, sort of filling up when they catch you. So let's grab that key. Okay, so let's try and get this guy away.
So when you've taken their key, and do they ever realise, hang on, my key's not with me, and then become on high alert at all, or do they kind of figure things out themselves?
No, they don't. Oh, see, because I got that guy over there, he was just out of noise range for that safe alarm going off, so he didn't get called.
Yeah.
No, they don't realise. They are a bit derpy. They don't realise that we've stolen their key. Okay, So we need to...
I guess you did pickpocket it though.
Yeah, that's it. So we need to try and get the other key and get the other safe. So in the top right hand corner you can see the objective. So this one we need to get both of the safes. And then that's how we get the level. We then need to go to the exit, and then it will take us to another part of the level. And it seems there's usually a couple of floors to each level.
What about checkpoints? Is there, like, if you got several saves and there was one left, would you have to start all the way from the beginning, or?
Yeah.
How does that kind of stuff work?
So the checkpoints are in the lift. So if you go up to the lift into the next level, we are going to manage to escape. I think we'll be able to get in the lift in time. There we go. That is now a checkpoint.
That was just about. So that's very similar actually to Hotline Miami, which is another game where each floor is kind of like its own checkpoint. Like as soon as you get to the next stage, as it were, then you can just start from that beginning bit again.
Yeah, that's it. So if for example I got that first safe and then messed it up, I'd have to start all over again and get that first safe again. Okay, so where's one safe's there, one safe's here. So I think we'll be able to open this one and not actually hit for them here. Oh shoot, no, that was completely wrong. Oh, he's seen me. I thought I could hide and get behind the back there. One thing I have noticed about it is that the view is sort of stuck in looking in this sort of isometric sort of viewpoint from top down, so I can't rotate the camera around. So stuff where, like in the corner there, it can be a bit tricky to see around. It's generally not too much of an issue, but I
Can you look ahead at the level of the rest of the area without your character being there?
Yeah, so you've got a fairly large area that you can look around with the mouse, but you can't rotate it all. It's not too much of an issue. It's just I think I've just gotten used to games that you can do that. And
what about the learning curve for you? Like, from when you first played this game to where you are now? Obviously, you've put a bit of time into it now. This isn't like your first 10 minutes. How would you, from somebody playing this for the very first 10 minutes to playing it a few hours, after playing it for a few hours, would you say that it's a very steep learning curve, or is it very welcoming and forgiving? Like, how have you found that kind of stuff so far?
It scales up in the difficulty, so it starts off quite low. And then it does a really good job of actually introducing you to all of the different new techniques and characters. So in chapter 1, you only actually have the one character, and then it sort of introduces you to the second one as you go into chapter 2, and then in chapter 3, I believe it is, you get the third one, or it might be the end of chapter 2. So yeah, it does quite a good job of scaling up the difficulty. I'm just trying to get these guys out of the way.
It seems like that coffee mechanic is actually quite effective. Like, it's something that you'd use. It's not just a gimmick, for example. Like, it's actually quite useful. It looks like you're gonna get
Yeah.
It does seem to be like quite a useful mechanic, really.
Yeah, it is quite a useful mechanic. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna skip out of this one, and go back home, and show you one of the other characters, just to give you an idea of them. So let's go into Sophia.
So Sophia is slower than the other character you were playing as, I'm presuming, because you said before about she gets away faster.
So she's the fastest one. Sophia she can still run. Also, while you're running, you can see that it does cause a sort of ripple effect, so it will call guards if you run. But Sophia can't run as fast as her, and then he's crippled, so you can see on his cane he can't run at all, and he's, like I said before, he's my least favourite character. I actually find...
Is it because do you find him to be a kind of one of the weakest characters, not just like movement wise, but just all round? Like, would you find that it's just your personal preference, or does it just make the game more difficult playing it?
It makes it more difficult. I just don't think I'm very good with him, and that makes it frustrating for me especially. Now, with Sophia, they actually do mix up with her a bit. As you can see, she has to go around stealing all of the paintings and this sort of statue, so I've got to get 11 here. But you might have seen me pick up a bomb from this plinth. Now, she does seem to get these sort of specials, and the other ones that I've seen are a transporter. She chucks out a transporter, and then it transports her across the map. And also, the other one is a noise detector, so she chucks that, and it sort of calls the guards to them. So this is a smoke bomb. So I can chuck, by right-clicking, I can chuck the smoke bomb out here, and it basically destroys their line of sight. So let's chuck it there. So,
Does that also affect the camera as well, I guess?
So,
that would just be everything. Yeah.
So I'm going to have to duck down. Now, they do... Oh, you see me. I'll just chuck it.
Oh, I think you got caught there.
I quite like the smoke bombs because you can do that and just escape quite easily.
They do seem quite useful, actually. Like, they maybe it's just me, but they do seem to be a little bit overpowered. In terms of, just like, I could just truck one down whenever I'm in trouble, and then, or do you get a limited amount?
You get 2, but they're on a cooldown. And so if I'm just gonna, you see this thing in the case. Now this is a bonus item that you can get on the map, but I find if you got the smoke bombs, you can just hit it there, and when you smash it, someone goes and runs and tells the guard. But if you put the smoke bomb there, they don't see you, which is quite good. But as you can see, I've got 2, and one of them's cooling down. Now this cooldown, I haven't figured out how it quite works as of yet. The more you use, the longer the cooldown is, but it counts down in quarters, which I find a bit annoying. It would be nice if it just sort of did a smooth motion all the way around, so you could actually see when it was going to be available next.
Or even what I was thinking is probably having just a mini little timer of like how many seconds. Like if it's, well, I guess if it's longer than 60 seconds, then that might be an issue. Or you know, if it's, but just something there when you get to like the last, I don't know, 30 seconds before you can use it again, then you know, like, because it could be hard to predict if you don't know how fast it's going and when it'll be. You could use that tactically. Okay, well in 30 seconds time, I could, you know, use a smoke bomb, and then I can make a run for it over here. Like, you could actually use that kind of strategically if you've got a bit more of a, you know, if it had like a number counting down when you were close to having it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I don't mind the fact that it does cool down, because I think, like you were saying, it can be, it will be incredibly OP if you just could use them in as many times as possible. Or the other,
oh yeah, you'd spam it all the time.
You just spam it and just completely like get away. Or if you just had 2 of them on the level and you could do some pickups, I wouldn't mind that as either. But it's just the fact that I can't ever tell when that's gonna give me another one, so it's really awkward to try and like factor that in the level. Oh god, I'm gonna have to use another one. Oh, I didn't need to use that there. Oh well. Now,
and he might catch you anyway.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Yep. See, that's smoke bomb for nothing.
As with the other character, she can, if I hold down space, she whistles instead of coughing, so she can lure them that way. And the other character taps his cane to attract them in the same fashion.
But overall, she's got more abilities than the other character you're playing as, like, because she could just cough, but then Sophia Take, she can whistle, she's got smoke bombs.
Yeah, so
is it just her that gets all these different things?
Yes,
or do the others
it is. Now, not every level has those extra power-ups. So, for instance, this level has a smoke bomb. I've seen, like I said, the teleporter and the sort of sound machine, and they're not on all of the levels. So some levels you don't get any, so you've just got the cough mechanic. So it is nice that they actually mix it up with the fact that they give you these and like power-ups in some other levels. And at the moment, did I not get the smoke bombs?
I don't think you have any on you.
No.
Not for this particular playthrough that you've just done. But one thing I know that's probably gonna would likely get mentioned in the comments of this video if we don't cover it is a lot of people, they like to play games cooperatively. Is there any kind of option to, whether that be local co-op or online, like to both of you try and play levels? Like, is there any kind of, or is it purely single player?
It's purely a single. I was so close. I messed that up. It's purely a single player game. And the sort of replayability of it, it sort of does give you extra points for completing levels. So if there's, in each of the levels, there are objectives, or just call them there by running. And there are different objectives, like all of her levels have that sort of glass case that if you smash it and get that extra trophy, then you get like an extra picture. So if you think of back in the day with Crash Bandicoot, so whenever you completed the level and you did it, say at the quickest time or below a certain time, then you'd get an extra gem to go on the sort of warp zone area.
Alright, yeah.
It works in a similar fashion to that, only you get extra paintings.
Is there any way to, with other people, like online, compare your times? Like, sometimes you have leaderboards for who can complete, because some people like to speed run. You know, there's a speed run community who just like to see how fast they can complete levels in games. Is that something that people would be able to do? Like, would they, if say for example I completed a level in an impressive 50 seconds and I wanted to see how that weighed up against you, for example, Andy, would I be able to kind of compare how good me and you are, or is that something I just have to tell you over Skype or like call you up or text you about?
You would just have to text me. I haven't seen anything, any options for them for you to be able to do that in the actual game. Oh, bollocks.
That's fair enough.
Oh no. Now you can get away from them. I just completely ignored that security camera while I was chatting to you. But you might notice as well that Sophia's hat sort of jumps off when you get caught, and you can't complete the level if you don't have a hat. So although
you'd have to go and retrieve them.
Yeah. So that adds something else to make you want to be more stealthy. And
do the guards like try and keep hold of that hat, or do they?
No,
like, do they try and take the hat or pickpocket, or?
No, it just sort of flops onto the floor, and then you need to try and retrieve it just by. It seems to be so. Say for example, it was at that door there. You could almost pick up from this far away. You don't need to be extremely close to pick it up. So about here would pick it up, I think. So with this as well, I think we should talk about the graphics, because I've talked a lot about the mechanics of the game. So I do have to say I like the sort of art style that they've gone with. So it sort of gives it this 1950s look with the sort of shading that they've done, and I have to say I really like that old sort of spy sort of drama look about it. So they've done a...
Yeah, I gotta say, the one thing that I picked up, I played a game ages ago when I was younger called, I think it was called like Spy versus Spy. You know, you had like the black spy and the white spy.
I love that game.
Yeah, and the one thing that reminisced for me with that is just the design of Sophia Take, with the way that her like, I guess even the way that she's kind of like designed is just the way that she walks. Like her legs are very similar to that kind of just graphically she looks very kind of similar to that kind of tiptoey spy sort of movement of a lot of like earlier games that I've seen.
Yeah, so it does sort of have that nice throwback to it, and especially when you zoom in, when it zooms in at the end of the level, then you can see that. So here you go. Here's the extra art pieces that we can get. So masterpiece, which is the glass part, that's that frame, and the fast. If you complete under the part time, that's how you get that frame, and then you get the main one for completing the level. So now there is another way of controlling it, like we spoke about. So let's just go into the controls. So now let's turn off the keyboard movement and go into mouse movement. And let's just do this next one. Now, this sort of mode, when you're using with mouse, it feels like it could be quite well adapted to run on something like an iPad or a touchscreen device.
because it's like a point and click.
Yeah, so you basically click and she'll walk to the area, or you can press and run. Well, that is going to mean I'm going to die because they've spotted me. No, I've managed to escape them. So yeah, it does seem like it could have been an iOS port, but or a port from that, but I can't actually find any evidence of that. As far as I can tell, it was straight to PC.
It could just be like a personal preference for some people, because some people do, some people are going to be prefer to kind of they like their point and click games and they prefer to kind of have control over the mouse rather than the keyboard, because I guess it goes back to some people liking to use a controller for console games rather than a keyboard for PC games. It's similar in that sense as well, that everyone's going to have their preferences to controls. The only thing that kind of like I would like is that which could easily be added in a patch or an update, is just gamepad support, just because I like to play, not all games, but I do like to play quite a fair amount of games on PC using a gamepad. Say of that what you will, some people think that like that, they don't think that's worth doing, or that they don't see the point in that. But some games are just to enjoy, to have that control. And I think for this game, it would just having an analog stick, would be very good. Just feel very kind of natural controlling the character. I don't think point and click for me, it would kind of get very kind of frustrating for me, because I'd have to just be spamming the click button just every time I move. I prefer to have more control of my character by, moving it with...
Yeah, the one thing I have found about this sort of point and click method of it is it can be less accurate than if you're using the WASD keys. So, for example, if I click here, she's going to walk around the side of this. So I might want to go around to the left-hand side, so I'd have to have it tracking around to the left. So you can see it's got the arrow there, or you can have it go around to the right. But you don't always pay attention to that, and I'm going to get seen here. So sometimes, if you're not too careful, it can end up going wrong.
And I guess once you've committed to click into a location, you can't exactly stop her from going over there.
No, you can click away. Oh. Yeah. And especially in that type of situation, when you're trying to run away quite quickly, if you press and hold to sort of make a run, and that is a very much sort of it's something like Diablo, when you're sort of clicking and holding the mouse to make a move, and that can mean, because you're not paying attention to where the arrows are pointing, so you do sort of trip up on some of the directions that you're wanting to go. So it's nice that they've tried to give a different way of controlling it, and appreciate that. I just don't think it is the best way of controlling it. But hey, it's in the game if people wanna use it. No, I'm just gonna go back to keyboard because I much prefer that movement.
And I guess that's it really. Like, you much prefer this one, and it's good. It's better to have the option than just to force people to have a uniform setting where you must stick to this or you must play this way. Like, it's good that the option's there, and I guess if you don't like it, you don't have to use it. It's just that just for me, it'd be brilliant if I had gamepad support for this. I would just be like, brilliant. I'm going to plug in my one of my Xbox controllers, just plug that into the USB port, and just play hours and hours of it.
That's
yeah.
it. And if for example that you are going through the level, and I've had it a couple of times where I'm just like, where's that last piece of art that I need to steal? It does actually do quite a good job of sort of giving you a tip towards the location. So it puts a little circle with an art in the sort of general direction that you need to go to help you find it, which is actually quite nice, and I find that quite useful. Okay, let's go to the exit here. Just run and attract everyone. Screw it. There is also some different enemies. Now, I've only seen the guards and dogs at the moment. And the dogs I haven't actually seen for a few levels. but there are a couple of different enemy types, and the dogs are actually quite annoying, but they basically sniff you out, and if they catch your scent, they try and follow you around the map. Their sort of field of vision.
So they're a lot smarter than the guards, then, would you say?
Yeah, they seem it. They've got an area probably about that big, where the mouse pointer is, around the area, where they sniff out. But their sort of field of vision is a lot smaller, so they can get up to about here without actually seeing you. But when they do actually get you, then that you're pretty much screwed. But it's quite nice they've got them in there, although I said they are annoying. It's nice that there is a bit of variety in the enemies. I'm going to try and lure these guys out. And that's the sort of countdown as well. So if that goes all the way up to the end and gets into the red, then you're caught. And then they sort of just go, oh, there she is, and run around to you. Oh god, why are you derping out this way? I want to go. Oh. That's right, I think we're going to be okay. I think we'll be able to sneak past them. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'll quickly show you the other guy. I'm going to go to one of the earlier levels because like I said, I really don't like him. Also, I do like these sort of newspaper sort of flashes. I just like the styling of it. It's very stylized, and I like that. Okay.
So,
Mr. Cripple.
So has he got any? Is there anything that makes up for his lack of movement? Like, has he got any special abilities which are pretty cool?
Yeah, he's got a sort of orby thing that he can throw, and that just just attracts guards. So if I right click, I can chuck this orb, and it makes a sound, and then it draws them out. So it gives this sort of tapping or coughing that range a bit more, sort of like a bit of a wider field. So it does try and make up for his slowness. So like this is literally as fast as he'll go. And if you get caught, whereas with the other two characters, you do have some sort of chance of getting away from the guard. Oops, excuse me, Jesus, wow. You do have some sort of way of getting away from the guards. You can run around corners and like duck behind cover. If you're spotted by the guards with him, that is game over. You're calling back and just going game over, man, and you're dead. So it does get really hard with him in the later levels, and that's just. I think it's just me. There are other people I feel like would actually quite like it, and the challenge with him.
It's probably the play style as well. If you're somebody who, you don't like the way the other two characters play out, like you don't like the thing I see with this orb thing that you chuck that makes a noise. It's a little bit more useful than I don't know I know there's Sophia Take, but have these other two got names?
They do, but they both escape me at the moment.
Yeah, but the other woman who's not Sophia Take, who's basically the female equivalent of this guy, in terms of like appearance. When you cough with her, you have to kind of escape the position you're in, like because you can distract them, but you have to be in the position you want to distract them from. At least with this character, you could throw the object into a room, for example, and then distract them without actually having to go over there. So that saves you some time in travelling and actually having to, escape wherever you're trying to lead them to. You can kind of, because it makes noise away from where you are rather than where you are. So you don't actually really have to kind of get out of line sight because you're already well away from the guards. So I can see that kind of working well for quite people, depending on how they want to play the game, really.
Yeah, the one thing that you have to be aware of if you do that, you can't finish the level until you've picked it back up. It won't let you do that. So like Sophia's hat, it won't let you complete the level. Oh god, right, we're dead. We're dead. No,
this is a race. Come on. No,
And with him, you can get ghosts, which is if you don't get spotted. I've not managed to do that in a single one of them. I just don't like him at all. And it's not like you can get away without playing him.
So I was going to say, it's quite funny how it says you say you don't like him, and then it's called Chapter 3, How to Make Friends. I don't like him.
I really dislike him. I don't like any friends. So yeah, it's not like you can go through the game without actually playing the other characters. You do have to do it to progress into the different chapters.
Right, yeah.
So, but hey ho, that's one small thing, and you only need to do a few number of levels with that character, so let's just get over it, I suppose.
And so where can people, and for how much, how can people get this game, and how much is it going to set them back price-wise?
So this game's available on Steam at the moment, and it's for £14.99. The levels, I believe it's got 25 of them. And yeah, like we said, it's available on Steam at the moment for your regional equivalent as well. And I've enjoyed it so far. I'm not sure if I would pick it up for the full price. Oh, I don't know why I was trying to do that. I'm not sure if I would personally pick up for the full price. I think it's something that would be worth picking up in a sale.
So potentially we've got the holiday sale coming round probably next month. Then if this is on sale, people should probably maybe take an interest and pick it up, you'd say.
Yeah, and I think the only reason I probably wouldn't pick it up for that is because I just don't like some of the mechanics, as we spoke about, especially with the way it forces you to play that guy. And I prefer like my stealth games where the guards have got a certain route to follow, whereas I don't like the sort of randomness of their routes picking. So I like to be able to go out and say, okay, well, they're going to go here at this time, so I can sort of move about to there, and I know that I can. I just prefer that method a lot more. But it works perfectly well with their randomness, and I suppose it does just add that extra level to the puzzle. It's a very dynamic puzzle. So this has been the Marvellous Miss Take. As I said, it's available on Steam for £14.99, or the regional equivalent. And Matt, thanks for joining me. And I think it's time that we go back to the mansion and like cash in all our loot. So thanks again, Matt, and we'll see you next time.
Yep. See ya.
Yep. See ya.